Hi guys, how you doing? Happy Friday. Stacy here. And today I want to talk a little bit about what I've been going through recently and basically the joy of caregiving. I am not yet sandwich generation. And if you don't know, sandwich generation is where you're caring for your children and parents. And my parents are not really needing any caregiving. They're both very independent and active. But my mother recently had a Whipple procedure to get rid of her bile duct cancer. So if you know what a Whipple is, you have my sympathies, because there's no reason to know what it is unless you've had to have one or someone you know has had to have one.
Or if you're a medical professional.
Let's talk about it. So a Whipple, also called...
Okay, let's see if I can say this.
Pancreaticoduodenectomy, I think is the medical term. Pancreaticoduodenectomy.
I think I said that right.
If I didn't, feel free to laugh at me.
Because that's a hard word.
But it is a pretty invasive abdominal surgery for pancreatic cancer, bile duct cancer, lots of those areas, intestinal. And what it is, they go in and remove the pancreas, the first part of the small intestines, which is called the duodenum. I did not know that before this, but now I know what a duodenum is. The gallbladder and the bile duct. And in my mother's case, they also remove part of the stomach. So they remove all this in a very intense surgery that lasts about 10 hours. Then they stitch it all back up. And amazingly, after removing all that, the digestive system can still function pretty normally. I mean, you have a restricted diet after that.
I'll get to that in a minute.
It's just amazing to me that they can take that much out of your body and it still can function pretty normally.
This is a pretty amazing piece of machinery here.
Let me tell you, I'm always impressed when I learn new things like that. So after surgery, post-op, she was in the hospital for 6 days, which was really good because they said in the hospital for 7 to 10 days, but after 6, she was doing so well, she was ready to come home. So while she was in the hospital, my dad went and saw her every day, a couple times a day, but
I did not.
I could have gone. My name was on the list of visitors, but I didn't go. One was because she was mostly sleeping and sedated the whole time. And two, I kind of got the feeling she didn't necessarily want me to be there.
Not because she didn't love me or anything like that.
But just because she was so tired and so it just took too much energy. She needed to rest. She needed to recuperate. Dad went,
Kept her morale up.
and then the day she got home, I was there. And I was able to see her. And I was nervous the first time. I was afraid she was gonna look just completely beat up. I was surprised. She looked exhausted. She looked tired, but she looked really good. For all the body trauma that she had just been through, it was amazing to me how good she looked. And so I didn't stay long that first day. We mostly talked about things that need to be done. And I set up a day for me to come back to do her shampoo. She had not shampooed her hair really since right before the surgery. They gave her that foamy shampoo they give you in the hospital. You kind of rub it in, but you don't rinse it out. And it had been like 7 days, so she was ready for a shampoo. I was gonna give her her first shampoo bath. I was nervous before that too, because I was gonna see like a foot-long wound on her and staples, and I was scared of the bruising and stuff. But just like everything else, it seems, my imagination was much worse. Everything looked pretty good. Nothing was like red or angry looking. Her bruising on her body was very minimal. She had a couple spots where IVs were and things like that, but she looked really good. I was glad. But mostly, I was glad that I was able to shampoo her hair. There's this joy in caregiving. When someone you love is going through something painful or unexpected, you feel
Helpless.
You feel like there's nothing you can do. And then when you're able to be a caregiver to them,
A little bit.
At least.
it makes you feel like you're able to do something. I knew that it would feel good and therapeutic to get a nice warm lather in her scalp, rinse it all away. That first time we didn't blow dry it. I just shampooed. It took 2 hours to do the shower from the time we left her chair to the time she got back to her chair. So we have done this several times since then, and we got it down to about an hour now with a blow dry in there. So
She's coming right along.
her progress has been wonderful. I'm over there 3 or 4 times a week. My parents don't live with me. I'm not a full-time caregiver. My dad's her full-time caregiver. Dad also needs a little bit of caregiving too.
So here's the thing with the Whipple.
When you do this kind of a surgery, your diet is usually,
A low-fat, low-residue diet.
I had never heard of such a thing, but when they explained it to us, it's really hard for me to like wrap my head around, because it's the opposite of everything I've ever been told about a diet. Like, she can have white rice and white bread. She can't have any leafy greens, nothing with high fiber. She has to have low fat, low fiber, low residue. And low residue just means the things that take a while for your stomach to digest. If she has vegetables, they have to be cooked real good.
Southern style.
Cracker Barrel style.
Also, Dad has to have a low carb diet like me. They can't eat the same things. They have to have 2 completely different diets. Like one night, one of their friends brought over dinner, and it was a rotisserie chicken and green beans and mashed potatoes. And that was okay. That was okay because Mom could eat those real cooked green beans. But she had some chicken and then mashed potatoes and then a little bit of green beans. And Dad had some chicken, some mashed potatoes, and mostly green beans. Try and make sure Dad's getting like salads with hard-boiled eggs and protein. And Mom has a little variety in her diet. So the other day I went over there and I made French toast. That was good for lunch. You know, put a little fat-free whipped cream and some banana slices.
It was delicious.
So we're learning as we go. And the more we do this, the more we'll be comfortable with it and just know off the top of our heads.
Mom can have this.
Dad can have this.
This is things they both can have. Makes it all much easier. The other thing I wanted to share with you guys that has to do with the joy of caregiving is last week was Charlie and Josie's VBS. And the last day was Friday, was family night. Invite your family to come watch what your kids have done all week. And I'm not gonna lie, part of us was like, you know? Because VBS was great because you could drop the kids off and then you could go do things you needed to get done without kids with you. The idea of family night was okay. We weren't going into it in the best spirit of the night, I guess you could say. And so Kyle, Bruce, and I went and we sat down and they put on a little show for us. Now let me show you why our night did a complete 180 and the very important lesson we learned. So first is Charlie's group, and probably the group older than her, and she is just very comfortable on that stage, as you can tell. Running around, having a good time. She just needs one of those headset microphones, I think. And here, right there, is where she saw me. If you didn't catch that, I'm going to show you one more time, and I'm going to slow it down a little bit for you, okay? First, there's shock. And then there is complete joy. Oh my goodness, look at that. Oh, she is so excited. From then on, really turns up the volume on her charisma. I mean, she is going to town now. So excited. And how can someone being that excited about seeing you, I mean, that just makes you feel like the most important person in the whole world. There is nothing better in life than that from your child. That's it. That's all there is. And then she notices this little boy who's having a hard time. I really felt for this little guy. And she tries everything to make him feel better. Oh, hold his hand. He's just not having it. So she goes on. Now next was Josie's group. So all of the little kids came down and Josie's group went up. But something unexpected happened. So Josie was up there and doing a great job. She knew all the motions and singing. You see her there in the back. She's so tall, she's always in the back. But she did awesome. Perfect. And this is where Bruce leans over to me and says, "Hey Mom, is Charlie's group supposed to be up there?" Nope, it's not, but there she is. And she is in full entertainer mode again, and yeah, you just can't hold a good girl down. She is all about it. You can see Josie and Charlie both here. They both love to dance and they have very unique styles. So they are fun to watch. So it's a little later and now there's another little girl up there dancing with Charlie. So she's not the only one anymore. She doesn't mind sharing the stage as long as she gets to be up there too. Now it was about this point in the performance that Bruce looked over at me and said, "Mom, are you crying?" To which I replied, "Shut up, don't look at me." I can't help it. Seeing these little nuggets do their thing just brings out all the feels in me. I'm so proud of them. Oh my goodness, so stinking cute. Now this is the point where she begins headbanging, kind of. Yeah, she's getting into the music. She feels it in her soul and the stomping. And then she sees a bug and so she's got to take care of business. "Sorry, Mr. Bug. You were not made for this stage like I was." That's what Charlie said. And so she's gonna do a little more dancing and then just, yeah, make sure that bug is good and dead. And then dance some more. So for me, the joy of caregiving is immeasurable. It's a gift to be able to take care of someone. It's almost selfish because you get so much more out of it. I guess that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Love you so much and see you next time. Bye.